Sometimes love begins not with a look, but with something lost. At a warm city fair filled with lights, music, and cinnamon-scented air, Anna loses her wallet, and unknowingly finds something far more important. Brandon returns it after recognizing her from a photo inside, and a simple act of kindness turns into a quiet, powerful love story. This is a slow, emotional romance about chance, trust, and the small moments that change everything. A story about how love doesn't arrive loudly, it arrives gently. Sparkles if you believe that the best love stories start unexpectedly. This one is for you.
Love Stories Max. Welcome to my channel. Enjoy watching, friends.
She lost her wallet, and found him. The fair that day felt like a living fairy tale. The city square breathed in the scents of caramel, cinnamon, and fresh bread. Strings of warm lights swayed above wooden stalls. Musicians played melodies filled with joy and quiet nostalgia, and people laughed as if the world had suddenly become kinder for a few hours. Anna came to the fair alone. After a difficult week, she just wanted to dissolve into the crowd, admire handmade crafts, drink hot apple cider, and think about nothing serious. She wore a light sand-colored coat, a scarf that kept slipping from her shoulder, and a smile that strangers noticed without knowing why. She lingered at jewelry stands, laughed with a ceramics vendor, stopped to listen to every street musician. At the honey stall, Anna pulled out her wallet, paid, and slipped it back into her bag, or so she thought. In reality, a moment later, as she leaned closer to admire a carved wooden figure, the wallet quietly slid out and fell onto the stone pavement. Anna didn't notice. The smell of fresh waffles and the sound of children laughing nearby had already pulled her attention away. Brandon stood a few steps away. He wasn't in a hurry. He had come after work just to walk, to clear his mind. He liked watching people, couples holding hands, someone bargaining cheerfully, someone tasting hot chocolate for the first time. That's when he noticed the wallet. At first, he planned to hand it over to fair security. But when he bent down, something made him open it, hoping to find a contact. Inside were neatly folded bills, a few receipts, and a small photograph. The girl from the photo was the same one who had just walked away from the stall. Anna. She was sitting on a bench, her hair loose, wearing a shy, unguarded smile. The kind of photo taken unexpectedly. Not perfect. Real. Brandon paused for a second longer than necessary. So, Anna, he murmured softly after reading her name on the documents. He looked around and spotted her nearby, laughing with the waffle vendor, completely unaware she had lost something important. "Excuse me, Anna," he said carefully as he approached. She turned around. "Yes?" Her voice carried surprise, but also warmth. Brandon held out the wallet. "I think this is yours. You dropped it a few minutes ago." At first, she didn't understand. Then she instinctively grabbed her bag. "Oh my God, yes. I didn't even notice." Her eyes widened. "You have no idea how grateful I am." "I can imagine," he smiled. The photo helped. She blushed slightly. I always keep it there, just in case I get lost. Ironically enough, they laughed together, easily, naturally, as if they had known each other for much longer than a few seconds. Anna meant to thank him and walk away. Instead, she heard herself say, "Maybe I could return the favor with a coffee? Or cider?" Brandon didn't hesitate. "I'd like that." They took warm drinks and wandered slowly between the stalls. They talked about small things, favorite music, strange fare purchases, how easy it is to lose things, and how sometimes it matters who finds them. Anna realized she felt warm not only from the drink. Brandon listened carefully, never interrupting, looking at her as if her words mattered. And Brandon thought he had never believed in coincidences, until that evening. As the fair lights grew brighter and the air colder, they stopped near an old lantern. "I'm glad you lost your wallet," he said a little awkwardly. "Hey," Anna raised an eyebrow, then smiled. "Me too. For the first time ever." He pulled out his phone. "Maybe, so nothing gets lost next time?" She typed in her number and, before leaving, added softly, "You know, now there will be something else important in that wallet." "What's that?" he asked. "Our photo. When we take one together." She walked away, and Brandon stood there for a long moment, phone in hand, feeling that sometimes love doesn't begin with a glance, but with a simple act of kindness. And with a lost wallet that found the right heart. I walked home slowly, even though I usually rush everywhere. The wallet was back in my bag, right where it belonged. As if nothing had happened. But inside me, everything felt different. As if someone had quietly turned a page, and I hadn't read the title yet. I caught myself smiling for no reason. Remembering how he held his cup with both hands, afraid to burn himself. How attentively he listened when I talked about work. How unhurried he was. With words, with gestures. I entered my apartment, dropped my coat on a chair, and took out my phone. No messages. I laughed quietly at myself. We'd only met a few hours ago. Anna, calm down. I placed the wallet on the table and opened it. The photo was still there. But now I looked at it differently. I wondered, how did he see me in that picture? Not perfect, not filtered, just real. My phone vibrated. Unknown number. "I hope you got home safely." Without losing anything else, slightly smiling face. "This is Brandon. I just wanted to make sure." I read the message twice. Then once more. Only then did I reply. "Me. Everything's here. Even the smile. Thank you for caring." I didn't want to admit it, but it felt easy. As if we weren't starting a conversation, but continuing one we had already begun. The next days felt strange. I caught myself waiting for the sound of a message. Thinking, oh, I should tell Brandon this. Passing a cafe and imagining us sitting by the window, him listening the way he always did. He didn't text often, and that made every message meaningful. He remembered I liked cinnamon. Asked how my day went. Once he wrote, "I walked past the place where I found your wallet. It feels important now. I wanted to stop time. I woke up earlier than necessary." The city outside was still gray and quiet, but inside me lived a calm excitement. This was our first real date, not a coincidence, not coffee squeezed between plans, but time we had chosen for each other. I glanced at my wallet on the nightstand and smiled. "You're coming with me today," I whispered. Brandon had texted that morning. "Don't dress too warmly. I have a plan." I didn't ask questions. Somehow, I trusted him. He waited for me by an old tram stop, holding 2 paper cups of coffee. "Just in case you skipped breakfast," he said simply. A small thing. But I was starting to notice how much those small things mattered. We rode the tram in silence, watching the city through the windows, exchanging smiles. The silence felt comfortable, not heavy. He took me to a quiet park by the river. No tourists, just benches, old trees, and water carrying its thoughts somewhere far away. "I come here when I need to think," he said. "And today I wanted to share this place with you." Something inside me tightened gently. We walked for hours, talked about childhood, fears, dreams we rarely say out loud. I told him I was afraid of losing people. He admitted he feared not saying important things in time. At one point, the wind pulled my scarf loose. Brandon caught it and carefully wrapped it around my shoulders without unnecessary touch. "Better like this," he said. And that was the moment I knew. Not suddenly, not loudly, no fireworks, just a quiet thought. I feel safe with him. And then a scarier one. I don't want this to end. We sat on a bench as the sun slowly faded, the sky turning soft and watercolor-like. I listened to his voice, memorizing his pauses, the way he tilted his head when thinking. I imagined him in my life, not as the guy from the fair, but as someone who knows where I leave my keys. Who sees me without makeup. Who holds my hand not only in happy moments. The thought scared me, but I didn't push it away. When he walked me home, we stopped near my building. Something unspoken hung between us. "I had a really good time today," he said. "Me too," I answered, and it felt like too little for what I felt. He leaned in slightly, asking without words. I didn't step back. Our first kiss was short and gentle. Not perfect, real, the kind that doesn't erase the world, but makes it clearer. Back inside my apartment, my heart beat steadily and deeply. I took out my wallet and opened it again. I knew then, I was falling in love. Slowly, consciously, without running away. And for the first time in a long while, it didn't scare me. White Heart. This story reminds us that life rarely introduces us to the most important people when we are fully prepared. More often, it happens when we are simply living, rushing somewhere, losing things, getting distracted by small details. In those moments, fate speaks quietly. Anna was not looking for love. She was looking for a break, a little warmth, a few hours without heavy thoughts. Brandon was not planning a meeting. He was simply attentive. And that was enough for a coincidence to turn into the beginning of something real. We often believe that love arrives loudly, with fireworks, grand gestures, and dramatic confessions. But true love usually begins with a simple human act, picking up something lost, returning it without expecting anything in return, looking at a stranger and truly seeing them. This story teaches us to value small things. A smile, a pause in conversation, a silence that feels comfortable instead of awkward. It reminds us that love is not only about strong emotions, but about a sense of calm when you are with someone. When you don't have to prove anything, explain yourself, or pretend. And finally, not every loss is a failure. Sometimes, by losing something material, we find something far more meaningful. A person with whom we want to walk slowly, without fear of what comes next. Because sometimes, all it takes is losing a wallet to find a heart. White heart.